All right, everyone, this is Daniel, as you know, and I'm doing a video. I'm at the coffee shop, Cool Beans, and I just wanted to do a video because everything is crazy with Claude code. Everything is wrapped up in my head. I can't explain it very well. I just want to go through a video step by step, walking and talking through how all this stuff works and why. And I think this will be very beneficial for myself in the future. This is definitely not going to be a public YouTube video. So I'm going to go over 4 scenarios with Claude. Okay, so this is the outline I'm going to do for the video. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask it, tell me about the R profit R package. Now, the reason why I did this is this R profit R package is not well known, right? It was developed by Brandenburger. While SDSU, maybe not at SDSU, Tom owns it. It's a scorecard package. And then I'm going to tell them to use it and build me a scorecard, right? So the first scenario is I'm just going to use Claude Desktop with no web search. So this is literally just the LLM. So here, I'm going to start a new chat, and I'm going to go here, and I'm going to say, okay, you do not have access to web search. You have no access to any of these tools. What's this mean? What this means is this is the pure LLM and its knowledge on what the R profit package is. So I'm going to tell me about the R profit R package. And it's weird how it has a gray scale. I wasn't expecting that, but we'll see. Oh, look, it used searching the web, even though I told it it couldn't. I turned that off, um, which kind of defeats the purpose. Okay, so it used the web. So this is scenario two. We'll just start with scenario two. Okay, it doesn't really know what the R profit package is, so it has to look it up and look on CRAN and GitHub, rproject.org to understand what it is. And it tells me, of course, the main functions include clustering, binning, and so on and so forth. So I'm going to tell it without any tools. So turn the tools off, and ideally web search off too. We'll leave it on for now because we're just going straight into scenario two. I'm going to tell it, you're an R expert. Use all available tools at your disposal, and I want you to use the R profit package documentation to write R code and build a scorecard to predict died using sex, age, and length of stay. Use the fart attack data in the current R environment. When you're finished, write the code, so on and so forth. So this is actually kind of dumb because it doesn't have an R terminal, and it's going to try to run R in some terminal somewhere, and it's just not going to work, right? Because it doesn't have access to R or installing anything. It's going to try to use Python, and it's just going to be an absolute disaster because it just doesn't have anything available for it to do, and it's going to make stuff up, and it's not installed. It's going to try to do all this, and so on and so forth. And the reason why it can't is because it doesn't have access to any of my stuff. So it's going to just spin its wheels. We'll see what happens here. I looked at documentation, it already did this above. It's going to write some code for us. Um, oh, very nice. Very nice. Looks like it's going to do that. It's writing R code, creating an R script to do this code. So Claude has gotten better. It used to not just make stuff up, but now it used web search to look up the documentation and write this R code. And then it's like, here's install the package, source this script, and here's the R code, open in VS. Okay, great. That is scenario two. The problem is it can't run the code, right? It doesn't have access to an R terminal because it's just the Claude. So the third scenario that I'm going to cover is Claude Desktop with web search and MCP servers. So what MCP servers do is it allows Claude to more efficiently um, access the documentation and also run the code. So here I'm going to turn on my tools that are available. Come on, turn them on. Yeah, there we go. So I'm going to go here and I'm going to create a new chat and I'm going to tell it again, tell me about our package. And I'm going to turn off web search for a second. So it tells me what it thinks it is. Yeah, so web search is on. Okay, perfect. So now I'm forcing it to not use the web. So in this scenario, I'm actually changing this on the fly. We're using the LLM plus MCP server. So it cannot look up anything on the internet. Okay. We're only using the MCP server tools available to it. So what it wants to do is it wants to search for the rProfit package using this tool. Great. So now it's looking up more and more. And so what's it doing? It's literally using this MCP server to look up what this rProfit package does. Current version, dependencies, so on and so forth. In layman's terms, what's it doing? If we just go to CRAN, and go to packages and go to table of available packages, and you just go rProfit and click here. Literally the reference manual in PDF form, it's being able to access that through the MCP server. So that's all it's doing. So now I'm going to tell it, um, you are an R expert, of course, build this, write the R code, run it, and when you're done, do the thingy that you have. And it's going to look for an R environment. The R environment right here is open. So we have running R4.4.3. We have nothing in it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to read in a CSV file called df. And so df is now in our environment. It's a data frame. It's the heart attack information. So we're going to send it here and we are going to see what it says. So it wants to check what objects are in the current R environment. I'm going to hit allow, and it uses this BTW tool. And it's like, great, I can see the data frame df with this many rows is contained in, and now we in the environment. And it wants to check if rProfit is installed. And using these MCP servers. So this is not using web search. It's just using the MCP server. And it's getting documentation on BenProfit. So it looks like it's headed down the right path. And it's doing a lot of spinning and everything. So while it's working, we're working here in Claude Code. This is literally the desktop version of Claude. That's probably important information to use. So now it wants to use the R code from our MCP tools. So what this does is it wants to actually run the code in my R terminal. And this is the function I created. So Claude can run code on my computer, right? Kind of sketchy, but this is how it works. So it wants to run strDF. It wants to do the head of the DF, do a table, get our death rates, and this is what its response. So it ran the code and it's going on and on and on. Okay. How do we know it's working? So if I go here independently and do ls, all of a sudden it's starting to make more objects like scorecard data. It made that. Um, and as it's working, it can follow along. Okay, it made bin data. Okay, great. That's what we like to see. Um, Going more. What's it doing now? It's calculating the weight of evidence transformation for each bin, right? It's just kind of going along and along. I don't have a ton of control over it right now, um, but it looks like it knows what it's doing. Um, and I'm just allowing it to do whatever it wants. Oh, we added another data set, weight of evidence data. Now it's going to build a logistic regression model using the weight of evidence values. So it's doing GLM, died, sex row, age row, length row, data, family. Yep, binomial. Great. Looks good to me. I and the only reason why it can run this code is because I have a tool here called run our code that I created that can run it in on my computer. Let's see what's going on. That adds some more data sets. Okay, so now it wants to merge the scorecard points back to the bin data. Sure. Oh, here it is. It attached the dplyr package. So now it looks like it's gonna give me some interesting results. ggplot, create a plot. I'm gonna say allow once. Oh, there it is. Ew, that's kind of an ugly looking plot. Um, but I'm going to exit out of that. I'm just going to continue allowing it to run code. And it's important to note that Claude in of itself doesn't know what R profit is. The only reason why it does is because of the tools. Um, in fact, if you ask ChatGPT what R profit is, it tells you it's some sort of like Facebook. And oh, now it's creating summary visualizations. This should be interesting. Which it really didn't. Okay, so it says it built a weight of evidence model, AUC of 0.8385. Um, okay, length of stay, information value of 1.04, age 0.66, sex 0.11, so on and so forth. Okay, nice, nice. Patients who died averaged 614 points. It looks like it made all three predictors are highly statistically significant. So we go back here to the R terminal. These are all the objects that we have. So if we do ROC result, we can see AUC is 0.8385. So it's not BSing its way, right? It actually made the model and is running it. Okay, cool. So now what I want to say to as I can you use the plot function in our library to show the weight of evidence distribution and bins by variable. I think that should work. Let's see what it does. And so what it should do is it should go and read the documentation. So it wants to look at Woe Plotter. Okay, it looks like it's on the right track. Now it wants to create the plots and it wants to run this code based on the documentation that it read. Great. Boom. There it is. Okay. That looks exact. That's great. That's legit. Uh, there we oh, purple. Okay. Age. I mean, strong weight of evidence correlation. And there's length of stay. It looks like clearly if you're 0 to 4 days in the hospital, kind of tough luck. 30% chance of death. So there we go. Oh, now it's really going off the rails and really wants to do some more plots. That's one thing about Claude is it really likes to really run off the rails. Um, I don't even know what I'm looking at here. Oh, length of stay. Oh, okay. So this is the strength of predictiveness by Ben, it looks like, regardless of variable. Interesting. Okay. So now it's made ourselves a scorecard. So one thing next, scenario four. So right now we're using Claude Desktop. It's the app on the side. But what I want to use is Claude CLI with web search and MCP tools to do the same because really what's happening is we're using two different apps that are kind of like talking to each other in the background. Ideally, I can just call in VS code on the right, get rid of the thingy on the left, and do it from Claude code. Now, I haven't actually tried this, but I have set it up. So on the left, Quad Desktop, it has a configuration file. And this is the configuration file that's in app data roaming cloth, right? And these are the MCP tools that I'm giving an access to. So here, it's to my R script executable file. It sources um, my R script here, which what it defines my which is here that defines my run R code. It literally is just like run the R code in the global environment. Okay, not super secure. And but we have Claude CLI, which is a different software than the desktop app. And CLI is more for developers and so people that want to make that they're more tech savvy. So I'm going to exit out of it. And I'm going to just have my VS Code. Um, let's remove this equals ls. And then I'm going to read in my data set. I'm going to do garbage cleaner. Ls. Okay, so now I only have one object in my R environment here, my data set. And what I'm going to do is just open up PowerShell and I'm going to type in this runs the software Claude CLI. Okay. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to do \MCP. What this does is it shows us the MCP servers that Claude CLI has access to. It has access to uh, both of our MCP tools, which lets us run the code, right? Figure out the documentation, and that configuration is in this Claude.json file in my basically users file. It's massively long, but literally you just copy this and then paste it over into here. And it's just one of 286 lines. Those are the configuration files. Doesn't matter. So cool. I know I have access to that. So now I'm going to tell it, tell me about the R package. and then I'm just gonna send it, do full send, and see what it does. So it says, okay, I'm gonna help you build this package in your current R environment. So it wants to get our profit package info. So it's using that tool. Yep, I want to proceed. I want to proceed. Oh, look, it found, I can see the dataset df with the required variables. Let me, okay, get the documentation. Oh, this is way smoother. Yep, way faster. I don't know what I'm doing even at this point. Um, Still looking, okay, it has all the documentation. Great. So now it's going to let me write and execute our code to build the weight of evidence scorecard. That's what I want to see. Whoa. Um, do I want to proceed? Yeah, sure. It's just running our code. So now if I go to my art and do ls, okay, there it is. It's the variables are there. It's just doing its thing. Perfect. This is the code it's running. Um, Not super clear on what it's doing. Hopefully, it's not downloading viruses. We can keep going here. It's making some more data 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 objects in my R terminal. Yep, proceed. Whoa. All right. Now it's going to get the right. I see. Let's go. It's almost done. That's what they say anyway. Yep. Now this, I'm excited. So it's using the tools at its availability. But Claude CLI has thousands more tools than Claude Desktop because developers. So ideally, we can tell it to, okay, now summarize this info into a down file, markdown file prompts.md. So what I'm telling it to do is I'm going to tell it, okay, it built the model, and now I want it to summarize this information in the prompts.md, which I have open right now. So what it can do is it can actually read my prompts.md file, and now it's going to be like, okay, why is he having me save it here? But we'll see what happens. Okay, here. So this is where the green is like, okay, it wants to add all this to my MD file. So it looks like we had 12,000 participants, females, age, so on and so forth. And it just added it to the top. Sure, I want to make the changes. Great. So what it did was it just made changes to my file. Now, if I had this connected to GitHub, which I don't yet, I could commit to GitHub, so on and so forth. And I can say, okay, I know the R code you ran is still there. Can you export that and write it to a new R file called score called scorecard? Right. Oh yeah, thank you. Appreciate it. Apparently I'm getting kicked out of Cool Beans. They close in 10 minutes. Um this video is taking longer than I thought it would. So I'm telling Claude CLI to go get the R code that it wrote and then actually put it into an R file so that I can save it. And it can do that because it's Claude CLI. It has thousands of tools that it can do. So here is the um So now I can go here, scorecard.r file. This looks like we have um, the script that it did. Great. And we can test this by just, I mean, sweet, it's already in memory, right? Like the score outcome object is in the bar terminal. And so now I can say, okay, so so include the plot that you include the code for the plots that you created. Um, and then run, what's that do? Just include the code for the plots you created. So it's going to go in and it's like, oh, shoot, I forgot the plots because I do not see any code for um, the confusion table matrix, scorecard distribution. It's like, oh, I didn't actually create any plots in the previous analysis. Yes, you did. Liar, 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 pants on fire. Okay, let me add the plotting code to the scorecard.r file for visualizations. Perfect. Um, Now we can go in here while that's working, canoodling, and I can be like, okay, let's see what it var is missing with no default. Okay, well, does whoa underscore dat exist? Yeah, it does. That was a mistake. Let's let it run its course. Great. So now while R is printing its 12,000 rows, um, it clearly messed up, right? Whoa, uh, so I just did it again. Oh, because it's a list. I'm an idiot. Okay. Well, okay, it clearly didn't work very well. Um, Total score is probably okay. So if I'm like, okay, I can say, bro, bro, why does the plot not work? You're making things, and I send it that, and it's like, wonder what happened. And while it's apologies, let me correct syntax. Yeah, seed. And what I should have done is in the prompt that I told it, right? Okay, sure, I'll change. Let's see if it works. Oh, oh no. There we go. Now it knows what it's doing. There's another one. Very nice, very nice. I don't know why it doesn't. Well, now there's the ROC. It does. Is it legit? I don't know. Probably go back through the code and make sure it is. Does a lot of my work for me though. Oh, that's another. Those are not the plots that it showed before. Hmm. All right. So, but you get the idea. Pretty cool. Um, you can use Claude CLI to pull a scorecard for you.